Greetings, beloved. How y'all doing this evening? Thank you to everybody all around the world watching us here on Togetherness Media. We've had an amazing show so far, but we're going to continue to the flow yoga style with Yoga Master Amanollah. We're so grateful to have him here with us today. Namaste. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
Man, I'm divine. Thank you so much.
Divine. I love to hear that.
Yes. So the theme of the day, we've been talking about trauma and drama. And so much of trauma is people store so much trauma in their body. And it's a way that it's a place that it hides until it's triggered oftentimes. And I know that you as a coach and as a yoga master may have some good techniques for people to get some of that out of their lives and get some of that out of their bodies so that they can move forward. And as a martial artist,
Yeah,
I know like martial arts is a way that's helped a lot of people through trauma as well.
it does. It does, and it helped me a lot myself. Myself has been fortunate to use martial art actually for that processing too.
Yeah.
Uh, what you're saying is about trauma. I realized most of the drama people are going through is caused by the trauma that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like if I have some drama today in my life, that means I have trauma before.
Yeah.
So there is a correlation between drama and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So very simple. As soon as we see that, we know there is a source in a much earlier part of our life,
Yeah.
and we can go back to it and face it. But my invitation for people is don't go there alone and get support
Mm.
because you can be very powerful after you find out, you get clear, you get complete with that past and build a future that you cannot even imagine.
Yeah. Well, bring a friend with you down that dark alley.
What is it?
Bring a friend with you when you go down that dark alley.
Exactly. Actually, I love that they said, your mind is a dangerous place. Don't go there alone. And
Yeah.
that's serious, my suggestion to be sure that you go with somebody that can support you and um, remind you how powerful and capable you are.
Yeah, because I think like
You know,
that's what I was talking about like a little bit too earlier. I was how the people who have dealt with trauma the best are the ones who use it to become champions themselves to fight against that same type of trauma.
exactly, exactly. And also, don't go with somebody who is an enabler,
Mm.
who keep you small and weak.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous because that kind of those kind of attitude doesn't help you to come stronger. Actually,
Yeah.
it causes you to break yourself.
That's a really good point that you brought up because so many people, there are a lot of people who will use people's past traumas, who will prey on them to control them.
Exactly, exactly. And one of the things actually these days also we see one of the ways that many of news and other things they try to control us is
Mm.
through fear.
Yeah.
And because most of us we are fearful and we have it from as a child, so we can be easily manipulated by that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's very
And what
true.
you
Politicians use it as well. They will use like traumas and dramas to try to control people.
exactly, and what you suggest, any any time that we can, instead of being dependent on somebody outside,
Hmm.
being connected to a part of ourselves that is divine, it's the best um, support in this process.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned about fate before. and the faith, and especially faith that the divine is in you and is there to support you.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and that's the thing is the trauma. People hold on to it sometimes. If they even once they know where it's at, because they are afraid to let it go fully, because it defined them so much, and if they believe if they let it go, then it's destined to be repeated. But as long as we hold on to it, we're continually having it repeated over and on in our minds and our hearts and our spirits and our bodies anyway. When we hold on to that trauma so tight, there's a time when we need to know that the lessons we received, the lessons we needed from it, and it no longer serves us to hold on to it.
Exactly. Actually, one is what you said, because when we know something, it's easier to stay with what we know, even it's painful, than opening ourselves with something new that we don't have any idea. That's one thing. The second thing that is more dangerous is many of us, we get attention through our dramas.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have drama, people pay attention to us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like my drama has a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
when it has a payoff, I don't want to let go of it.
Yeah.
So
Especially since so many
that's another side of it.
especially since so many people don't feel seen anyway. And so many people feel, yeah, like they feel like they're invisible, and that's a way to make themselves visible and make themselves felt.
Exactly, exactly. Now, one thing I want to add to it, and I invite you and also our viewers to think about it, that how much by the memory of trauma, the trauma, alive and repeated in our mind, how much energy we are putting into it. It's like we are continuously keeping it alive. Now, if I have the option to get complete with that trauma in the past, my future all of a sudden, my present and my future is opening up. Now my energy is opened and released, and I can use that energy for whatever I desire to create.
Yeah. And
Un-
open and release.
unfortunately,
I really like that
unfortunately,
term.
yeah, unfortunately, in 10 minutes, we cannot talk that much of it. But the main thing is also to know any trauma, any any bad thing that happened in our life in the past, we kept it in our mind as a story.
Mm-hmm.
And that story can be changed anytime we desire.
Exactly. There's part of the definition of trauma is, well, like the root comes from a word that means to turn or to rub. And if you've been turned one direction, then once you realize which direction you've been turned, you could decide which direction you turn next. Your course is not completely set by your trauma. When you are moved by your trauma to one way, to one road, that may not be the road that you're supposed to be on forever. You take the lessons to pick up the things that you needed to pick up from that road, pick up the safety you needed in that moment from that road. But once that road no longer serves you, once that road takes you away from your destiny, it's time to turn again.
Exactly. And you know people that they use the trauma as a tool to give them access to their power, and they get stronger
Yes.
and come back to life much stronger than before. There
Like a
are
leg
many
that
people.
breaks. It's like it gets stronger back. The bones heal stronger when they were broken initially.
Exactly. So it's not a matter of what type of trauma is. The matter is, how am I relating to that trauma? Am I victim of that? Or am I aware that I have a choice to stay victim, or I can change the story and make it a tool to make myself stronger than before?
Yeah. So, all right. So people know that you're a yoga master. Can you give us like a little yoga technique or something that can help people remove a little bit of the trauma that's stored in their body?
It's very hard for a couple of minutes to do that.
Okay.
But one thing I can say is, I can show you a technique how to relate to something. And when you get stronger and done it for several times, then you have an opportunity to do the same thing for mental or emotional issues.
Okay.
Just imagine you have a tight shoulder and painful shoulder and neck. Bring your attention to the area and breathe deeply and slowly. And when you inhale, imagine that with every breath, you bring that air and send it to the area. And with every exhale, you take out all the tension, all the pain, everything that is bothered that area. And when you exhale it, you release it. So inhale to the area that is painful. And then with exhale, release it. Inhale and exhale. Now, if I do this again and again, several times a day and several days for several weeks, after a while you realize, oh my God, my shoulders is much better. I'm not tense as before, because you start breaking the pattern of continuously keeping your shoulder and neck in a tense position.
Yeah.
Now, when you get used to that, then you can bring that to some of the heartbreaks or some of the emotional up and down, and do the same thing with that. But again, I don't suggest it to do it alone.
Yeah.
Do it either with a great friend that is empowering you, or somebody who knows how to support you and empower you.
Yeah. And then one thing we spoke of, thank you so much, first of all, for that technique. We spoke a little bit about how sometimes one of the biggest issues with trauma is the fact that people at certain points in their life felt unsafe. And I know both of us are martial artists, and I know that martial arts has helped so many people bring that safety level to themselves. And would you just want to do a pitch for that to the people out there as well?
One of the things you already know about it, it's a very helpful technique from martial arts that we can bring it to a regular day-to-day life, that it also bring more safety and security to our life, is a peripheral vision. When we look at in front of us, what we see almost 170-degree view in front of me. Anytime you look at that way, not you only be aware of your front, also you start building some kind of awareness from your back. So by building that and being present to your 170-degree of your eyesight, peripheral vision, your driving is going to be better because you have a better view instead of being pointy, have a very limited view, have a complete open. And also your driving would be better. And also when you're walking in the street, you don't feel somebody all of a sudden jumping your face. You can feel it from the back that they are coming. You know how close to you are. Actually, some of my friends or students, they are telling me, Do you have eyes in the back of your head? No, I don't have eyes. I used to learn to be aware of my 360 degree, 120 with the eyes and the rest with my presence in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Being that last part you said really triggered to me. Live in the moment. So many times when we deal with past trauma, we keep taking ourselves and we keep on reliving that old moment over and over again. And being present in the now lets you know that you're not there anymore. You're not in that vulnerable space anymore. You're in the now. And in the now you are strong. And in the now you are powerful. And in the now you're in control of your destiny. And we thank you so much, Amanollah, for giving us your wisdom and giving us these techniques today. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Thank you. Have a divine time.
Tell them where they can find you before you go.
Amanollah G at Instagram, Amanollah G with double L on Instagram, and Amanollah Ghahraman in Facebook. And you can find me everywhere.
You can find him everywhere, and he's worth finding because he has so much knowledge, so much wisdom, and so much information to give you. And we thank you for coming on the show today again. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.